you understood and believed in yourself that you could succeed in those areas, and that yes, you can be one of the best players in the nation. And at the end of the day, I wanted you to believe that you are the best player in the nation. And I don't care if I'm your mama, I will keep telling you that and keep hyping you up so you know that.
Hey guys, and welcome back to More Access. I'm your host, Aaliyah Moore, and today we have a very, very special guest, my mom, the LaShowann Smith. Yes, I'm so glad, guys, we got her on. So I'm excited for this episode. I think it's going to be really good. So say hi to everyone, mom.
Hi.
Yes, she looks very young, but she is my mother, for everyone that's wondering. She is my mom.
Yes, I am indeed.
But all right, let's get into it. So I thought to kick things off, mom, we could just dive into your basketball career, when you started playing, and tell me a little bit about your college career as well. So why did you
Okay.
start playing the game of basketball?
So I have two older brothers, which are your uncles, that played football, and they were always into sports, like like love sports throughout their entire life. So by the time that I got to junior high, like I sprouted up. I was really tall. I'm actually taller than my oldest brother, and so in seventh grade, my oldest brother was like, "Hey, you should think about playing some sports, or at least try some sports and see, how some things go." And so in seventh grade, I tried volleyball and I tried basketball and then track as well. And I'm just going to tell you, I was terrible at all the sports. It was my first time playing all of them, but it ignited a passion in me because I saw that my teammates were better, and it pushed me to want to be, at if not as good as them, but better than them as well. And so in seventh grade, started playing those sports. Like I said, excelled. After I played again all those sports in eighth grade. Still had some struggles, still was trying to figure some things out, but started to get better and figure it out. And then by the time I was a freshman in high school, I knew, I was like, yeah, track's not for me. I did not like all of that extra running, but I did like volleyball and I did like basketball. But it came down to, there was an overlap in the seasons. And so I was like, okay, basketball, I think I can really excel at if I stay at it and keep pushing. And so I just went ahead and focused on that one sport, and that was basketball my freshman year. Kept getting better, was dedicated to it, kept pushing. And by the time that I was at the end of my sophomore year, I was better than all of those kids that were better than me growing up, like throughout junior high and all of those things. And mainly because, like, I focused on my game in the summertime. I was working on my game. I had the drive to get better and wanted to get better. And so I didn't play on my first, even at that time, AAU team until 10th grade, my 10th grade summer. And that was my first experience of like literally playing against the best players in the country, similar to what you did, but I was behind. Like I was so behind there. I knew there were so many things that I needed to continue to work on to get better. And so that was like my measuring stick that summer to figure out, okay, going into my junior year of high school, I know what I got to work on. I got to figure it out and get better. And so I just put my head down, got to work. And by the time that I was ending my junior year of high school and going into my senior year of high school, I had offers that I'd never thought that I was ever going to get. So by that time, I was like, oh, I could actually play college basketball. And so ended up getting some HBCU offers, ended up getting some D1 offers in California, which is, I went to high school in California, born and raised there. And so I was like extremely excited about the opportunity to play college basketball and like what that could look like for me.
Mhm.
And so at that time, your grandma was, her Air Force base was closing down, and it was McCullen Air Force Base in Sacramento. And that was my senior year of high school. They were getting ready to transfer her to Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma. So by that time, I'm like, oh no, like, me and your grandma are super close. I was like, I can't be in California and she's all the way in Oklahoma. So I was like, okay, when I start going on these trips, I have to figure out somewhere that I can go that's semi close to home, but not too close. And so I had some HBCUs that were recruiting me. And my first visit was at Southern University. And when I tell you I fell in love with that school, like I absolutely loved it, was ready to sign on the dotted line that day. Like if I could have, I had the best time. Then I still visited some other HBCUs, but I was really set at that time on Southern. Well, about 2 weeks before it was my time to sign my letter of intent, the coach ended up getting fired at Southern. So I was like, oh my goodness, like what am I gonna do? And so I fell back on my second choice, which was Alabama A&M. And to be honest, it was my best choice. Like it was the best 4 years of my life. As you know, your aunties, my teammates that call you, that are your aunties, they love you. They saw you grow up, they cheer you on now. Like those are my people. And so I know I made the right choice then, and I know I made the right choice now, and it was best time of my life.
Yeah. Well, if y'all can't tell, I got a lot of my basketball knowledge from my mother. From what all she just told you, she knows a lot about the game, which I'm very thankful and blessed about that because it made the process for me a lot easier. But
Yeah.
yeah, like she said, she went to Alabama A&M, which was an HBCU. So speaking of that, tell me a little bit more about that experience because I know it's different from what I experience every day at Texas.
No
So
doubt.
just how was that, and how did that kind of, you could say, shape you as a basketball player?
Honestly, being in California, I didn't know anything about HBCUs because we don't have any on the West Coast. And so kind of going back to my story, how I was introduced, your grandma had a high school classmate who was a heavy advocate for HBCUs, and so he had came to my high school, my I want to say my junior year, and he had asked for my game film, and so I gave him my game film, and he sent those tapes out, and that's really how I was able to gain some interest for HBCUs. Once I went and I attended Alabama A&M University, it's different. Like the culture, you're around your people. Like people understand your struggle. People understand the day-to-day issues that are going on with Black people. The things that are going on within not only our society, but within the culture, within athletics, the struggles that we have every day. And so to be honest, it's hard to say like well, let me say this. It was the best experience that I could have ever come into as far as relatability, and even accountability. Like our coach didn't play. At the end of the day, the same way your coach is the same way that my coach was at that time.
Well, I've
Like
heard
you're
the
gonna
stories. I've heard
yeah,
the
like
stories.
yes, yes. So that the level of accountability was no different. So the basketball piece of it, no different. You still have that same accountability, but at the end of the day, the bond, the HBCU culture, the fraternities, the sororities, the just everything that comes with it, I was able to experience that and be a part of that, and it was amazing for sure.
That's awesome. And I know you used to tell me um that I right now I had more skill than you had. But you told me that you were also playing an undersized position. Like you were probably like
Yes,
what, 5'10", 5'11", playing the 4 and 5. You were an
that's correct.
undersized post player back then, but back then that
Yeah.
was more normal, I guess you could say. But yeah, tell the people what you said, Mom. You said I had more skill than you back then.
Oh, no. Here, I listen, I tell everyone, you are better than me, and you definitely have more skill than I had back then. But your mama was a dog. I Listen, I didn't take no crap. I sit, but let me say this. You are very similar to me in the way of when people want to get physical and they want to start getting tough and being overly physical and those type of things. That's when you wake up.
Yeah,
You're like, oh, you're like, okay, this is what we doing today. Okay, let's go. So it's not like something that you shy away from at all. So let me make that very clear. But for me, it was just that was a part of my game, like being super aggressive, initiating contact, those type of things. Because you're right, I wasn't definitely not as skilled as you, not at all. I love to bang inside. Couldn't shoot a jump shot. Your jump shot's way better than mine, and and I'm grateful for that. Um, but I knew my game. Like at the end of the day, I knew what I brought to the table, and then I knew what ways I could affect the game. And I just did those things, whether it was boxing out, rebounding, being aggressive, bringing the energy, making sure I'm productive on the boards, making sure I'm finishing inside, those type of things. And so I just embraced what I knew I did well and really didn't step outside of that.
okay, so we've talked a little bit about, your journey in the game of basketball. Obviously, just from you talking, you know a lot about the game. You've helped me a lot, like I said, throughout my college career, throughout my recruiting and all that stuff. But I want to get more into a little bit about me, but your perspective on watching me grow into the person and the player that I am today. How has that been as a mom? You going through your own recruitment process, being in California, all that stuff. And then with me going through my recruitment process, how different and how was it weird? Was it fun? Was it interesting? You know, you being in
Mhm.
the mother position and me going through it and me going through it in a way where it was like 30 different schools recruiting me.
No
It
doubt.
was just very, very crazy and different.
Yeah, I will say I'm grateful for the things that I was able to go through and navigate prior to even giving birth to you. But when it came down to your basketball career and the way that I just saw, like over the years, you continue to progress. Over the years, you continue to just get better. You were dedicated. You had a winning mindset, and so all of those things like made you what you are to this point. And I, you know, me being your parent, I have all the faith in you, so I'm always gonna hype you. But at the end of the day too, like I knew what you could bring, and I knew what your skill set was, and I knew your talent. And so I really just heavily enjoyed being able to watch you get better, being able to see you enjoy the game, being able to see you have fun, being able to see you have new experiences. Like the experiences that you had from the time that you were an adolescent all the way up until high school, I just enjoyed the ride. Listen, taking you to Colorado for USA basketball, amazing. Being able to see you succeed in that manner, amazing for me. Those were things that I never got to experience. And so I was just grateful that you had those opportunities and that you understood and believed in yourself that you could succeed in those areas, and that yes, you can be one of the best players in the nation. And at the end of the day, I wanted you to believe that you are the best player in the nation. And I don't care if I'm your mama, I will keep telling you that and keep hyping you up so you know that. But just to be around the journey, like I'm so proud of you, just proud of not only what you've done on the basketball court, but you know how important it was to me for the academics. And I think people seem to miss that part. You were a phenomenal student and always had been. People don't know you were taking college courses in high school, so you can use those credits for college. And now that's paying off. You're going to be able to graduate this year in 2024 as a junior. That's amazing. Like my proudest accomplishment is going to be that, being in the stands, being able to watch you graduate and go across the stage and take another chapter in your life and do it early. Like that's amazing. At the end of the day, you're more than a athlete, and I tell you that all the time. I want you to pursue your dreams. I want you to pursue your goals, and whatever that is outside of basketball, I'm going to support it 1,000%. And so I'm proud of you. As I say, I can't say it enough. I'm proud of your growth. I'm proud of your maturity. You're 21 years old. You're still learning every day. And so um continue to embrace the journey that you're on. Continue to embrace the new challenges. Continue to embrace the new opportunities that you have, and it's all going to pay off at the end. So keep pushing and stay positive.
Oh, that was so sweet, Mom. I love you so much.
I
Yeah,
love you too.
I'm gonna just play that every time I'm having a bad day.
Yes.
So sweet.
Yes. Yep, I got you.
But yeah, like you said, you brought up a really important point that I am more than an athlete and that you always try to make sure that I always knew that. That I play basketball, but I'm not basketball. Like I'm more than that.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why I named it my podcast More Access. More obviously
Mm-hmm.
my last name being more, but just access into my life. Like I'm more
Yeah.
than just me dribbling a basketball. There's so much more to me, the academic side, like you said. Me just being my goofy, silly self, you know, as you
Yes.
know, I love to smile, being around family. Family's my
Yes.
everything. My mom knows that. Um,
Yep.
kind of bringing up that more than an athlete stance. Why do you think it's really important that as Black women, we know that we are more than just, on the court?
I think it's important because at the end of the day, um, listen, Black women lead the nation in education. Okay, so we as Black women understand the value of obtaining our degrees, whether it's a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, mainly because we know how hard it is on us if we don't. We know that there's already going to be challenges that we are going to face in everyday life,
Mhm.
and so one of the things that we feel like we can combat that with is by getting our education. Like at the end of the day, no one can take that from us. Okay, and so I think us as Black women have to continue to uplift each other. We have to continue to advocate for one another. And at the end of the day, we have to be loud about it. We can't sit in the background. We have to, when things are not going well or when things are not right, we have to be able to get out of our comfort zone and speak up, even if we're the only ones doing it. At the end of the day, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And so, even going back to you, like I am extremely proud of you speaking up about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and what the state bill did, as far as your university and taking that away, and how it affected you, not only you, but how it affected the other minority students at your university, and what long term effects that could possibly have on the university. And so, at the end of the day, I'm always going to encourage you to speak up for yourself, speak up for others, even if you feel uncomfortable, even if you're the only one doing it. At the end of the day, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And like you said, you're proud of me, for speaking up. But was able to speak up because I have people like you supporting me, other Black women that play sports, that don't play sports, that I've seen speak out. And so that brings me to my next topic to talk about. Why do we think representation is just so important? With in sports and without sports. I know for me, it's important because I play the game and I love the game because of people like you, my mom. You look just like me. You're a Black woman. You've done
Yeah.
it. We might not be on the same path or we had the same, different obstacles, whatever, to get to where we are. But just
Mm-hmm.
seeing that you were able to do it with what you went through and your circumstances, and that means that I can do it. So I just wanted to
That's
hear your stance on why you think representation, just like, after games like me signing autographs, why you think that's just so important and how important it's going to be for the future.
yeah. Representation is huge. I know for me, when I was talking about my journey earlier, I didn't talk about representation, but at the end, when I was playing, that's when I was still living in California, and the WNBA had been inducted. And at that time, we had the Sacramento Monarchs. Had to think about the name of the team. The Sacramento Monarchs was created, and when I tell you, being able to watch Ruthie Bolton, like strong Black woman doing her thing, like balling out of control, and to hear her story and the things that she went through when she was younger to be where she is now, like that motivated me. That's representation for me. And so it's important that you have that. It's important that, not only you have that, but that you be that for young girls as well. And so when I see you after games signing autographs and little girls wearing your jerseys, like that just makes my heart melt, because I know that you're doing the right things on and off the basketball court. They recognize that. They see that in you. And those kids want to emulate you. Those kids want to be you. After games, a lot of times we hear those kids say their dream is to play at Texas. And who's to tell them that they can't do it? They can. And so representation is huge. And I always want you to be able to have role models outside of your family that you can look up to, and also, to be able to come to us when you need things too, because at the end of the day, we got your back, and always will. But yeah, representation for minorities, especially Black women, is huge.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And it's funny you brought up how a lot of times when I sign autographs, a lot of the kids in the stands will tell me they want to play at Texas, they want to be like me when they grow up. And it made me think about when I filmed my first episode of my podcast, I told them the story of how you told me I received my first offer, which was from Oklahoma State University. And I just think it's
Hmm.
always really funny because I remember we were in the car and you told me, and I'm like, an offer to do what? Like you told me I received
Exactly.
an offer, and I was
That
like,
was so funny.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
an offer to do what?
that was hilarious.
I didn't even think that you could receive D1 scholarships, even though I was watching college basketball. I just didn't know how to do
Right.
it. So it just made me think of that moment. And when I told them that, and it's just funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, how representation does matter. And I know, like,
Yep.
after that, I started watching college basketball a lot more and just seeing
Hmm.
girls out there playing. Like, I'll never forget when, who was it? Was it Notre Dame and Mississippi State and Aaliyah
Hmm.
shot in the corner? Like,
Yeah.
those moments, I was like, I want to be in moments like those.
Yes.
And so yeah, just to kind of tie that into representation, and then that made me think of
Yeah.
what I said in my first episode about when you told me I received my first offer.
Yeah. No, that moment brought me back to Aaliyah, because you're right. Like that's just the innocence of you being a child. Like at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, I play basketball. I love this sport. I just got done playing at Boo Williams in front of all these college coaches, and you get your first offer. And like you said, offer to do what?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I
It's
didn't know
like,
what
what? Huh? What does that mean? Hmm.
scholarship
Yep.
school paid for. You don't have to pay for anything.
Right. Exactly.
You
And
have to
that's where
pay
that Exactly. And that's where that conversation, where the conversation between you and I started. Like, this is what an offer means. This is the opportunities that you can have in college, and you know what your potential future could look like. So it was a great moment for sure. And then after that time, they just kept pouring in and pouring in and pouring in and pouring in and pouring in. At that point, listen, I was just trying to be the buffer between you and the coaches so you could have somewhat of a high school life.
Yeah.
So it was a crazy time, but a fun time for sure.
Now it's crazy because it feels like forever ago, which it kind of is, but it's not. It was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I think I, like you said, I'm 21. I'm a junior in college. It's
Mm-hmm.
insane.
Yeah.
It is so
Yep.
insane.
Yep. You know how I would always tell you time flies, and you know people used to tell me the same thing, and it's like until you experience it, you don't really understand. But the fact that you're 21 years old is just mind-boggling to me. Like, I'm still like, I can't believe I have a 21-year-old. She's a junior in college, continuing to grow and mature.
Yeah.
And so time flies. That's why I always tell you, enjoy every opportunity that you have, enjoy every moment, and take advantage of it.
All right. So we're getting to the end, but before we end, I want to ask you a few rapid fire questions just to see what your answer is going to be. Because I
Okay.
feel like I can guess some of them, but I'm going to see
Hmm.
how right I am. All right.
Okay,
You ready?
ready.
Okay. Question number one: favorite WNBA player.
Lisa Leslie.
Okay. I I think I
It
would
was
have
hard.
got it. Yeah. I
That
honestly,
was,
I was gonna say maybe a Tamika Catchings, but
I love her.
yeah,
I love her. It's too hard. I could have said Lisa Leslie, Tamika Catchings, Cheryl Swoops,
yeah, sure was my second.
Shamiqua Holdsclaw. Like, Aaliyah, just too many. There's too many, but Lisa was the first one, so I'm gonna go with Lisa.
That's a good pick. I was close. Okay, number two, fave NBA player.
Oh, LeBron.
Yep, yep. You already know we're big LeBron stands over here. So,
Bron.
yes, big Bron stands. All hail the king. Shout out
Yes.
Bron. Hoping to get him on
Yes.
the episode also. So,
No doubt.
awesome.
Shout out Bron. Please tag him. I would love for my daughter to have that opportunity.
Yes. Okay. Third one. Fave college player.
You.
Yep.
Sorry.
I gotta
What?
slide
That's
that
not
in
even
there
a
too.
question. That's not even a question. No.
I had to see if I could get you a little bit, but
Yeah, no, you're not getting me on that one. No.
okay, she's locked in, y'all. She's locked in. Okay, your fourth question is what's your favorite meal to cook?
Oh, that's tough. Hmm. I would say maybe like Alfredo pasta or like a spaghetti Alfredo pasta, mainly because you really love it. So I like to cook it for you. So that's what I would go with.
I was about to ask you what do you think my favorite meal is that you cook, but you just
Yeah.
it's your any pasta she makes, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, an honorable mention would be your ribs and salmon sliders.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, the ribs. Yeah,
Check and check. I agree.
yeah. Okay, next one is what's your fave trip that we've been on together? It can be anything basketball wise, any
Man.
trip
Oh
we've
no, I already know. New York.
been.
Like your senior year of high school, we went to New York. Like, we're going back. I cannot wait until you have some sort of break so we can go back, because I feel like there were so many other things that we could still do. But New York City,
Yeah,
hands down, the best.
I agree. And I think because we went for my senior year, we should go when I get my master's. I think that would be a cute little,
Let's do it.
yeah. But yeah, I
Let's do
agree.
it.
New York was also one of my favorites.
Yes, it was off the chain. It was fun.
Yeah. Okay, last one. What's the thing you'd love to do most with me?
The thing that I love to do most with you, honestly, I would probably say our car rides. And I would probably say that because as much traveling as we did, with us living in Oklahoma and you playing for an AAU team, EYBL team, let me say, that was located in Houston. And so your practices were in Dallas, they were in San Antonio, sometimes Austin, sometimes Houston. And so you and I used to have the best car rides between our car concerts, singing in the car, listening to old school 90s R&B, and you playing new songs for me. You're like, Mom, I know you're gonna like this song, and you always know it might be your generation, but you always know the vibe that I'm gonna like. And so those type of things, and then conversation that we would just have during that time. I would probably say that's probably was the best for sure.
I that's definitely up there, but I would say for me, just because I've been away from college, and coming home to visit is one of my favorite things. And I love when we're just sitting on the
Yes.
couch watching movies and just talking. That's probably one of my favorite memories since I've been away at
Yeah.
college. and I look forward to it. It's just
Yeah.
I told you, it's a safe space. Just chilling on the couch. I ain't got no worries, no academics, no
Yes.
basketball. I'm just chilling with you.
Yes.
So that's probably one of my favorite things to do.
I have to agree with you 100%, especially when we're talking about post high school for sure. All the things that you've been going through in college, like just to be home for Christmas, like I look forward to that time when you're home with us, and the memories that we're all able to make. And I agree. Chilling on the couch, watching movies, just relaxing. Yeah, definitely really, really good.
Yes. Well, this was so fun. I love you so much, Mom.
I love you too.
No, you're always my number one supporter. You and Baba, my grandma.
No
I
doubt.
wouldn't be who I am without y'all. So thank you so much
No
for being
doubt.
on here. But that's it for tonight, y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please stay tuned for upcoming episodes. I'm gonna have some even more amazing guests on. And yeah, I'm really excited. But please rate, review, and subscribe below to stay updated on what's to come. But yeah, thank you, Mom, and thank you guys for watching. Bye.
Good job, Queen.
Thank you.